This is a VR for the Nova PIPER on being a fisherman in Nova Scotia. But first, I'm smoking my cobbard, and in it I've got the last of my Balkan Sobrani. I should be sad to have finished that, but I've enjoyed it nevertheless, and I'm thankful that I've had it. Right, laddie. They wanted to know what I was doing over here, how I came here. I came over in 1773 after the clearances, and I'd done a bit of fishing down the north coast. Fished from Fraserburgh down to Great Yarmouth in the sailing luggers. It's where I learnt my trade, fishing the Swarth and the Burken banks for the silver darlings, the shoals of heaven. Well, that began to fail, and the family were exiled off the island of Skye and the clearances, so I decided to try my luck in Canada. And since then I've done several jobs, but the main job I've done and do is whaling, going out looking for the great sperm whales that come in occasionally, and the right whale, the one that's got all the oil. And it's a hard life as a harpooner. I started off rowing as just an ordinary seaman and worked my way up. And I've got a good eye and a strong hand and a strong arm. So it seemed natural to have a go at harpooning. You get in real close. The whale dominates the rowing boat, but we've got to get in that close because I've got to hit her in the heart. It's not easy, and sometimes I almost forget to let go of the harpoon, throw it with all my strength, and lean against it as it goes in. And with luck, she ruptures her heart. And then we have to hang on for dear life as she dives down to try and escape her fate. But if I've got her right, she'll come up as sweet as anything, as sweet as a baby's bottom. And then we take her to the sailing ship, and we tend to cut her up outside on the side of the ship, keeping off the marauding fish, sharks, or anything like that might want her. And as we cut the blubber off, it's boiled down into oil, and we try and get enough meat as well. Fetches a good price. And the liver and the heart, they go to the fishermen, the men who caught her. Good meat brings strength. But it's not just the whaling that I like. It's that going out to sea, riding the great waves, seeing the clouds come in and the waves roll, looking for that break in the surface, and there she blows, and the chase is on. Those 8 men, 4 on each side, rowing for all they're worth, and the rudder, and me stood in the prow. Aye, the harpoon in the hand, waiting for her to come up again, guessing where she'll be, and directing the rowers and the navigator to where I think she'll come up. And then the joy of seeing her break the water, sending up the jet and splume of her air. And if I'm lucky, the time to strike. But there's always the problem of those who try and get there before us. Other whaling ships sometimes. And we have to fight them off occasionally. But when we get into port, all animosity's forgotten. And we sing and drink and wench. I have got a good harpoon for both those jobs. For both those thrusting and striving to get her in deep. Well, I'm getting old now. Getting past going out whaling. So I tend to join the fishing crews off the banks, not far from the deeps, where the water goes from 30 metres down to thousands of metres. So many you can't count them. Many a man's been lost there. Many a man's died. But we still do it. It's in our blood. The call of the fish. The call of the sea. And all it entails. It's a hard life, laddie. A real hard life. Under a good captain it can be easier, but most of the bastards are hard men. Fishing you round the clock, so that we can get back and set out again for another load. And what for? For the few coins we spend in the bar. I sometimes think of settling down. There's some good land round here. But I'm too old. And too ornery to settle. And every time I think about it, I hear the sea calling me again. I'll probably die out there. No land burial for me. Just drop me overboard when my time comes. Well, laddie, you don't want someone like me telling you tales, telling you about the time that the captain fell, when the crew mutinied. Bad times. Hard men. Men who know how to live and who know how to bloody well die. No one will say a word against us. If they do, then you'll see the blood flow. You'll see the knives flash. And the landlubbers fall. And then by hell we get to sea quickly, claiming we know nothing about it. We were not in port when the terrible things happened. We were out there on the banks fishing, just as shocked when we come home to hear that there'd been some trouble. After all, we're God-fearing men. Aye, Quakers one and all. Come over when our religion was frowned upon, and when our land was taken for sheep. Aye, I still think back to the Highlands, think back to the croft, but I didn't miss 'em. No, I miss the sea, and soon I'll tie up on shore, or be lowered overboard on my last journey. May me anchor hold, and may God bring me safely to the bar.